Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of you're always bro, we don't I mean, what's up with that? I mean, what is that? Was that like a probiotic soda?
No, it's a fruity drink.
Let me see.
It's a Spindrift.
Let me see. A spin drift. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to
You
a
know what that
brand
is, no?
Nah, no clue.
It's sparkling water with juices in it and like fruit juice.
I don't like sparkling water.
Poor.
Okay. Okay.
Andrew Tate's back, brother. He's back.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The
Andrew
Tate
Tate.
Meister.
If Andrew Tate knew both of our locations, he's picking mine over yours.
Fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, brand new
Damn,
episode
dude.
of On It. We are here. You got me. You got Devin. And usually we're not trying to out rich each other. And what you eating?
No,
What
I
is
wasn't.
this? What is this? What the fuck, dude?
I wasn't out rich, and I was imitating Mr. Andrew Tate.
No, yeah. I was imitating the other one. Whatever the fuck.
His brother?
What you got over there?
Jesus Christ. Beans, rice, Jesus Christ, and Byron.
Beans and rice. All right. Well,
Chicken.
We got a lot to talk about. We got the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, how these series ended, preview of these series. And then we got a couple other topics, couple of NFL topics, but we got to get right into I'd say probably the most important topic of the day. If I asked you, what's the most important topic on the list of topics for this episode? What's the number one?
Gaza.
Huh?
Israel? Russia?
No.
Trump?
No.
Fuck. Yes,
beating
Minnesota.
Denver. Minnesota beating Denver.
The biggest game, the biggest. What? Yes.
I mean, elimination game. The game that eliminated the reigning champions is probably the biggest game of the year.
Yes, I mean, this kind of barring what will happen in the playoffs. I mean, was close to like a finals level of hype for a series.
Yeah, and it was a weird game because I know after they went up 3-2. I mean, really, when they tied it up 2-2, I thought, all right, Denver.
Yeah, no, I thought they were rolling.
Denver might be back, and then Game 6 after the blowout, I was like, all right, well,
yeah,
they got it. Denver's pissed, and they were up, I think, 15 at half.
They were up 20. Well, yeah, 18, 15 at half.
At half, and then in the third quarter, they were at some
20.
point up 20 points.
Yep.
And Ant was playing like shit.
6 of 24, right?
He was playing. I don't have his stats up. I can pull them up.
Well, he looked at it post game and was like, 6 of 24. Dang.
I think that was that him or Cat's numbers they were looking at.
I think that was Ant's.
Either way, Ant played like shit, and then came the second half, where obviously he did what he did defensively versus Jamal Murray, but I mean he also, no matter how bad he played, they're up 7 with maybe 2 minutes left and some change.
Yep.
And to me,
big third quarter.
To me, hits the game ceiling 3 to put them up 10 points, and then obviously Denver never really even came close to coming back to that in the final 2 minutes.
Not the fourth, nope. Murray and Jokic, 34 and 35.
Now
everyone else dropped to nothing, burger. Told you, AG's not always dropping 27 points. It's tough.
I still don't know if that matters. I don't know, but
it mattered in this game. I mean,
Okay. 2 questions. Well, 1 question. Actually 2 questions. Does Denver bounce back, and does Jokic actually not care? Because a lot of the main thing, the main narrative is Jokic could care less about this. Like he does not care. Like he wants to go home, play with his horses, and do whatever the fuck he does.
All right, we would be absolutely retarded to say that he doesn't care. I mean, there are certain ways of showing that you care. He clearly doesn't show it with his body language or his words or whatever the fuck, but he comes out here and plays hard basketball and plays well.
But when you
Always. What I did see a stat. Your first question, I do think that they can bounce back and have a success down the road. They're still a great team. Jokic and Murray are still great. They have good pieces around them. They could have better pieces. But no, I saw a stat that they're 8-0 in series against the 4th seed or higher. And or lower, whatever. And they're 1-5 against the 3 seed and up.
1-5 versus a 3 seed and up. And that gives you confidence that they're going to bounce back?
Not that they're going to, but I think that they can in those first rounds against some shitty teams. But
really, I think the two questions kind of come together at some point. It's like if Jokic obviously cares, I mean, there's no reason to think the reigning MVP and the squad around him couldn't bounce back next season. No. But we're also watching teams that are already. I mean, just looking at the Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals, we're already looking at teams that are going to be put on the same exact pedestal as Denver next season. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, the West might just
the West is getting real tight.
The West might
and
get
the West
scared.
could get a lot tighter. Like if the Warriors build or Steph goes to a better team, or they keep him and build, or if the Lakers get better.
Phoenix.
I mean, it's tight. There's some young teams, and
the West could get scarier. The East could get healthier. I mean, but I'm not gonna just sit here and count the Nuggets out. But
no, do I want to see them lose? Yeah.
Fuck the
I don't
Nuggets.
really care for their basketball, but
because Minnesota is moving on into the Western Conference Finals.
And now we will see a new champion. No matter what,
we get. I like it. All right. Who do you want to see? Luka. Luka's who you want to see get their first ring.
Luka and Kyrie. I think that's a cool duo. I like it. I mean, I would be fine with seeing the Timberwolves. I want, a team from the West. To be completely honest.
Oh yeah, you hate Tatum. I forgot you.
Let's get into.
You hate Jason. Well, before that,
the other okay.
Before that, I will say, and I just want to throw this out there before, before the series starts. I'm worried that Minnesota kind of, them I'm just worried Minnesota may get taken advantage of relying on Ant so much. Like there were a couple plays that I believe sparked Minnesota's momentum that had they not happened, and I'm talking possessions. And we talk about basketball and possessions, especially like if it's not in the late fourth quarter, is really not that important.
Sure.
And if those couple of plays to me did not happen, I mean, Denver's nowhere near blowing that 20-point lead. And I'm kind of worried that if we sit here and gas up, Luka and Kyrie as this duo that's unguardable, I don't know what's going to happen if they get a hold of a 20-point lead. I don't know if it's going to take a lot more to bring Minnesota back in the game versus them.
Dallas has blown some leads, and Dallas is a little bit notorious for being a team that gets up and can't hold that. But they're also, in my opinion, a team that's like, if Luka and Kyrie aren't on it, are an easier team to beat than the Nuggets. If we look at a complete team, the Nuggets have that supporting role where one of those guys can have not a great night and the other guy can step up and pick them up. There's not too many guys on Dallas who's going to pick that squad up. Luka has to play great. Kyrie has to play pretty good. But
okay,
to me, Denver was a little bit scarier of a of a task for the Timberwolves.
Okay.
Not
So
saying that Dallas can't do it, but they have to be locked in.
I mean, we can talk about it because obviously Dallas they win in 6.
Yeah.
They beat OKC, knockout number 1 OKC.
They beat OKC on free throws.
I don't know. I thought it was obvious. I mean, the only question I had about OKC for you, which came from a statement from another YouTuber where he was okay. He was talking about how some teams, some players, some franchise. I mean, some teams, players, uh, specific, teams in specific years that team up together. Them not winning the finals doesn't necessarily mean they weren't successful.
Sure.
Like, and then he brought up like Paul George and Roy Hibbert in Indiana, like
Yeah.
having a 56 win season and putting the pressure on LeBron and Miami and and for what the expectations were. There's only one team that can win the finals.
Yeah.
It's not really a failure.
I definitely think that at least that Indiana team was fun to watch, but they were a much younger team, and they were. I mean, it was what Lance Stevenson and all those fucking guys.
Well, I'm comparing them to OKC, is who I'm about to bring up in question.
Who to OKC?
Well,
OKC, because I mean, I don't think. I mean, obviously the Pacers had a great year, but I don't think they had the same expectations that Kyrie going to a team has. Because a team that has Kyrie will always have crazy, especially with Luka, who's an MVP contender.
Well, see, I'm talking about OKC. So my question is,
OKC.
So OKC goes number 1 in the West.
I'm lost.
They go number 1 in the West.
This is not a failure. No.
They have all these expectations. They lose in the second round to Luka and Kyrie led Dallas
off of on a late foul.
And they had a predator on their team the entire season. So
that
once they
didn't
get
help.
rid of that cancer,
maybe it did help. Do you think it helped?
No. No, I'm shutting down that narrative right away.
Weird.
But
had a good year. So,
but 5 years down the line, the real question is this what you think? If you had, your own crystal ball, is this like OKC's ceiling, or is this just like the beginning?
No, I don't think it's a ceiling. I mean, we could see what happened to the Pacers, where they never really reached that peak of where they were. I mean, they were kind of a spur team. They came out of nowhere. Paul George was super young. But yeah, I mean, this whole team's under 25, basically. I don't expect them to go away. Hopefully Giddey does, and maybe they can pick up another tubby fucking 6'8" loser.
What the fuck? No, we want a good guy. We need a good person. That would be cool. If we get like a really good person
who is a good person,
I would say probably most other players than him, and especially in comparison.
I would say that they're better than him. Yes,
especially I know it's like people.
Yes, and players and people and all of the above.
People, like just everything, taste and just okay. OKC loses
ones that aren't registered, but I mean, I think that they can. But yeah, it's a weird. There's a few of these teams like that. I mean, the Knicks, the Pacers, the Cavs, all these like pretty young teams with super talented guys. It's a little.
But the Knicks didn't have the the second MVP voting. The runner up in MVP.
No, I mean, yeah, Shai was obviously had a great year, but I think Shai can have great years. I don't know. I mean, does this team need anything else, or do you think they're going to stick with their boys and?
I think it might be
Josh Giddey.
I think it might be too early to say exactly what they need, but I will say that if 5 years down the line that they get bumped out by, let's say the next 5 years they get bumped out by the team that wins the finals.
Yeah.
If that is the case, and every year, maybe 1 or 2 times out of those 5 years, Shy wins an MVP or whatever. It's like that's not a failure to me if that's
No,
what you got in that run, or say like a finals appearance or whatever, or a final appearance or two. Like it's
but here's the thing: like, obviously, when like if we can go back 5 years to the Celtics being in the Eastern Conference Finals before the year before Kyrie, and the way that we looked at that team as potential superstars, and we think that Tatum can win an MVP and all this, but now we look at this team's expectations. They're pretty much, at least they have the same two guy core, and they're looked at way differently. They're looked at like in like they're expected to win a finals, and any season that they don't is a failure. So, I mean, if they continue to play good basketball and they continue to make the playoffs and make deep runs, then we'll probably look at them like a failure down the road. But right now, I don't think so.
Okay, okay. Um, Dallas, Minnesota. That's the
Huh?
preview.
I lost you.
Dallas,
We're back.
Dallas, Minnesota.
Yep.
That's the preview. That's the matchup.
Yep.
I mean, do I ask you just flat out who do you got? Um,
I don't know. I'm kind of over this fucking predicting because I know and in this one now I don't know who I want to see win. I would love to see the Mavs win,
I'm in a
and
situation.
I wouldn't be mad at all if the Timberwolves win.
Yeah, I'm in a situation where like either team can win this
Fine,
series, and I'm
totally
like
fine.
really okay
Now
with
in
it.
the East, there's teams I want to see lose. There's
We'll
teams
talk
I know
about
will
that. We'll
lose.
get to that. We'll get to that.
I
But
know.
Dallas and OKC, Dallas and Minnesota. I mean, the real question is, I mean, the real question is who's winning, but it's also is who's stopping Luca, who's stopping Kyrie,
Well,
who's going
Ant.
to attempt to keep up with Kyrie or Luca defensively, and then offensively, come back
Yeah,
down
yeah,
and match in points. Like it's
yeah,
like what
yeah.
who's
Well, um, Luca is guardable. Like the only way to guard Luca is just to hope that he can't shoot. Like that's all you
yeah
got. He'll have bad days. He will. That's just how it
yeah
is.
like you gotta hope he
Maybe he won't.
goes 11 for 27.
Yeah,
You
maybe he
gotta
won't have
just
a bad
hope.
day. Maybe he won't that. Maybe he'll fucking drop 37 every game or whatever the fuck. But I think Ant said he was going to be matched up with Kyrie, which I mean, even for Kyrie, that's still kind of a mix. Because Kyrie, I mean, it doesn't really matter who you put on that motherfucker.
I mean,
He'll light the boys up. But
if I'm who you said who's gonna be guarding Kyrie?
Ant,
Mm, I don't know. It's probably.
I
I
don't know if
mean,
Ant's that quick. That's tough. Ant's a big dude.
Ant can definitely try his best. I mean, Mike Conley. Yeah, probably
Well,
Ant.
this isn't going to be a very like. It's going to come down to who's better offense, who's shooting the best that day, who's on.
Bro,
It's hard to guard any of these teams.
if this is going to be first to 125 points. You know what? This isn't 2000 fucking 13 anymore. First to 150 points. If that's the type of game you think they're playing, Dallas is running out of the building
Well, yeah, but
all day.
not in the playoffs. I mean, I think there'll be some high scoring games, but as long as the again, I don't think Dallas's defense is as good as Denver's. So I think Minnesota will have some better offensive games or have the ability to play better offensively. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a tough matchup for both teams, but Ant's gonna have to be on his shit. He can't shoot 6 for 26, 6 for 24,
No, he
whatever
definitely
the fuck.
can't. I mean, if
And
Ant,
Gobert is gonna have to step up. How about Jaden McDaniels, brother? What a guy.
see, that's the thing. If Ant's gonna have to worry about locking up, let's say Kyrie. I mean, Jaden Daniels is probably gonna be on Luca.
I know.
So that's another thing. So if I'm Dallas, I'm forcing either Cat or Jaden to be the number one option. Um, but I think Minnesota might do that to themselves. With all the hustle, fucking Ant's gonna have to have on defense. Like
No.
I don't know. I think I got Dallas. I think Dallas is. I think Dallas is just ready. Like I get the Minnesota hype, and if it continues to happen, like if they just win this series, and it's like, all right, okay, all right, well, Minnesota's just legit, and they
Yeah.
are like
Yeah.
kind of solidified. Dallas, it's like we've been waiting and waiting and waiting
Yes.
for Luka to turn it
But
up another
Dallas is
notch.
also a team that's let us down a lot.
Sure.
And
But
I don't know.
you add the vet, which at this point, out of all the teams left, Kyrie is the vet. You add that
Kyrie's the
vet.
bet. You know, Rudy Gobert is the last guy left in the playoffs who's the top 15 highest paid player. He's 13th highest
No.
paid. He's the last guy in the top 15. Jaylen Brown is the highest paid on his team.
Oh wait, say that again.
So of the top 15 guys with highest salary, the last one is Rudy Gobert. He's the last one left.
Oh, I thought you were saying one more time.
Rudy Gobert
Okay.
makes 40-something million dollars a year.
Uh-huh.
The top 15 highest paid players in the league
Uh-huh.
are no longer in the playoffs except for Rudy Gobert.
How? I mean, this year, like this season specifically.
This year, yeah.
Because I mean, how did Jaylen Brown become the highest paid player in NBA history? If
They
that's the
said
case.
15, top 15. I don't think Jalen's up there. Also, I don't know how to do math.
Can we pull up Jaylen Brown's contract?
Let me look up highest paid NBA
Is that
players.
something we can do? I mean, does it increase every year or what?
Yeah, it could be on a yearly thing.
Can we pull it up? Let's see.
Where is this guy?
Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about?
Dude, his salary.
His cap hit this season is what?
Why is he not on this list?
His cap hit next year is $49 million.
All right, what is it this year?
I'm looking for it.
What
Cap
the hell's
hit
his name?
in
Jaylen Brown?
24-25 is 49. Can we see 2024? Okay,
it says 31 this year.
Okay, so it really kicks in next season because he's making 49 next season, and then it's going up to 53.
That's absurd. That would he would be the highest player in the league.
49, 53, 57, 61, 65.
65?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, so it takes a huge jump.
That's no.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rudy's the last guy, which sucks, but it's a changing of the guard in the NBA, and I like it.
He's also technically, not technically. He's a DPOI. So
he is DPOI.
To pretend like he's not, at least I don't know. People just don't like Rudy Gobert. He's not like the worst. Like people act like he's like the worst player to ever touch.
Well, he started COVID, but yeah, everyone shit talks Rudy.
And that's the thing. Like that has nothing to do with basketball. It's like he touched the microphone.
It does. Because now LeBron James championship doesn't count, dude.
That bubble was happening regardless.
They took it away.
Everything. Everything.
Rudy Gobert said,
everything fucking shut down. Somebody else was gonna go out and party and go to a game on a Tuesday night, and they were gonna get COVID.
Remember how crazy that was? They were like, 13 players have it. Oh, game canceled. And it was just like this continuous cycle until the world shut down.
Yeah.
That was super gay.
That was 4 years ago.
Fuck Fauci, dude.
That was 4 years ago. Still don't know what that person looks like, sounds like, is.
He's a tiny Italian, man.
That could be a made up person.
I wish it was, brother.
I don't know.
I wish he was.
I don't, and I'm glad.
He's pretty made up now. You don't hear from him anymore.
I just tuned it all out. I don't know if we capped that topic off, but I'm taking Dallas.
I'm taking whichever team wins.
Who do you got winning?
I don't know.
Who do you got winning? Who's winning 4 out of 7 games?
Minnesota. Cat's gonna go wild. I want it. Fuck. I don't know. Minnesota. Fuck it.
You know it's not. I feel like you know deep down you don't even.
I don't know. I have no
I feel like
idea.
you don't. I feel like you know. I feel like you know deep down inside. They're gonna be trying to meet Kyrie at the rim. Luka's chucking 30. He's making at least half of them. We can talk the East.
All I know is I'm gonna watch 1 or 2 of those games. That's for sure. That's for damn sure, brother.
We can talk the East.
Do we have to? Because it's kind of fucking annoying. Well, all right. I'll say this.
I mean, you gotta understand. Go ahead.
Pacers put the spanking on the Nicky boys in Game 7. Real brutal. Real bad.
Well, I mean, Jalen Brunson broke his hand, so yeah.
Jalen Brunson did break his hand.
That was just another injury domino.
Yeah.
Really the last straw.
That was I mean, they weren't playing well before then, but when he broke his hand, that was not great. But to me, this was like toward the end of the series, it's kind of like who both of these teams aren't making it to the finals, or either of these teams aren't. So, to me, it just makes it a little bit easier, I think, on the Celtics to pull apart this team. So the Pacers have a chance. This is the NBA, but the Celtics get hot. It's going to be close to over pretty quick.
I think they have more of a chance than like you think.
No, yeah, I mean, I think they can win 2 games.
Well, what? So Kristaps is out at least the first 2.
At least the first 2.
So he's out.
That's what they say, but I don't know. This series went to 7, so who knows?
He's out at least the first 2. So I mean, Pacers could show up in Boston and steal 1 or 2. Not 1 or 2. Possibly steal 1 of the 2 in Boston. Yeah. Maybe Miles Turner shows up and goes crazy, but I mean the matchups are interesting. I mean you got Halliburton and Pascal going up against JB and Tatum, which
Pascal's going to be pretty tough to defend, but especially without Chris Stapes.
I mean,
who the fuck is Pingus?
I don't want to say the Pacers have to play perfect to win this series. But they're definitely going to have to take advantage of these first 2 games if they're.
It's going to be like a kind of win by committee type of deal. Their whole team's going to have to play pretty well, on top of hopefully Halliburton showing up and not disappearing, and Siakam doing his thing. But yeah, they definitely need help from that cast.
Halliburton was here. He was here round 2. He didn't disappear round 2.
Yeah, no. Round 1 he was stuck, but
you combine. I mean, if we end up having games where Pascal and Halliburton is combining for 70 points, I mean,
that's a little much.
No, it's not. We watch both 60? Of them. We watched both of them have multiple 40 or pushing 40-point games in these playoff games already.
Sure.
So, no, not 50. That would be like 25 apiece.
That's usually what they do, though.
Yeah, I said a couple games of them averaging 70.
Maybe 1.
You gotta listen. You never.
No, I heard it. I just don't believe it.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. I don't know if fucking Al Horford's gonna be able to be the interior anchor he was 10 years ago.
Al Horford's the guy.
Like, I get it. Like, it's fun.
He's Dominican, brother.
It's fun to gas up Al Horford, but I mean,
number 42.
I just don't know. We've watched Boston walk through the first 2 rounds with like kind of some type of cockiness.
I think that this might be the easiest walkthrough to a finals we've ever seen, depending on how big the Pacers show up in this series.
I think
they played a full series against the 2 seed who didn't have Giannis, had a couple games without Dame, played against the Cavs. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell the last 2 games. The team wasn't very strong the entire series. And then now they got the Pacers.
This is like a perfect example of recency bias because you can't go back and name any other runs. So, like, do you really think
Yes,
this
I
is the
can.
worst? No, you can't. I really don't want you to. Please don't try. It's going to take forever. But I'm telling you, if you did like 5 to 10 minutes,
It's
or
it,
if you did some research real quick, like quick research, you'd probably be like,
but
"Oh,
it's
this isn't
all right.
even close."
I don't mean of ever, but I'm saying currently right now, this is a relatively easy run. They haven't faced the hardest teams at full strength.
So easy, not luckiest.
No, not luckiest. No.
Okay, okay. So easiest
Well,
run.
maybe luckiest.
Luckiest was
They got pretty
Toronto.
lucky with the Bucks.
Luckiest was Toronto,
Toronto was the luckiest for sure.
but it might be the easiest. It might be the easy. It might be the easiest run
Right
for
now,
Boston. But I don't. Is that their fault?
no. But I mean, it could be bad for this series. I mean, maybe they're not as prepared as they were in previous years, having not faced some pretty tough competition. But I don't know. They got ran out last year by the Heat, and they're definitely what's the word? Exposed to, or I don't know.
Being
They
fraudulent.
could lose, huh?
They're exposed. They've been exposed to being frauds.
Well, yeah. Well, they've just been beat before, by
Yeah,
teams that they're supposed to be better than.
yeah. I mean, that is true. But I still got Boston. I got Boston. Boston is beating Indiana quicker than whoever's winning in the West.
Yeah, I got Boston.
That's my prediction. In 5.
But yeah. Boston will have rest going into the finals.
Boston in 5. Okay. Boston in 5. I like that. Boston in 5. Can we talk Harrison Bucker?
You're gonna have to teach me some things, brother.
I'm going to
Because
teach you some things because I didn't know much about it. I just heard, like, okay, here's how the Harrison Bucker thing went for me. Harrison Bucker had a speech. Harrison Bucker said something about men being men and women being women. Now it's like he said a lot. All right, let me tell you. So he had a commencement speech. At
yes,
I don't know where here at Benedictine Benedictine
where?
Benedictine College.
Yeah, Benedictine. Yeah,
Benedictine College.
sounds like a liberal arts college to me.
Yeah, sure. So let me just read this for you. Can we go through this and then maybe
Let's start from the beginning.
we'll
Yeah,
just dissect it. So he delivered the speech on May 11th, and it featured statements that are at best controversial and more precisely full of anti-trans bias, misogyny, and anti-gay bias.
nice.
No, not
Well, those are
nice.
blanket statements. We don't like those.
Um,
We don't know what he said.
well, I'm gonna tell you.
And it is a liberal arts school. Good for them.
Bucker's comments have been met with an NFL statement that's tepid in its rebuking. And while some commentators have ironically turned the "stick to sports" phrase, usually aimed at black athletes who speak up about injustices around on Butker, he most likely won't suffer any tangible consequences for his comments. It's a reminder that athletes, especially white athletes, can speak out as much as they want without
All right,
any number
you're
of
listening to
marginalized group.
what is
Don't
this?
let me cook. I mean, bro, we can sit here all we want. At the end of the, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. If we're gonna have this conversation, we're gonna have to be real that white people can just say more. That's just a fact.
Okay. Yeah, no,
That's
fair.
just a
Okay.
fact. There
Sure. Yeah.
and that's in the sense of what I mean by that is obviously, yeah, they gotta like in society they gotta tiptoe around what they say and what they mean. But when you're on this level of fame and fortune, and you're some white dude, you can say a lot more and get away with it
Sure.
and not get judged.
Sure.
And that's just a fact.
Sure.
So what he said and how it reveals larger contradictions about who gets to enjoy freedom of speech in sports. Bucker's commencement speech targeted queer folks, trans folks, and women with vitriolic nonsense. The kicker, who is Catholic, encouraged graduates to have Catholic pride, but, quote, not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it. See, that's the crazy shit I'm talking about. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that is wild.
Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it. You
Last
call
I heard, gayness is not a deadly sin,
See, that's the
but
thing. You call something like, "Oh, that's gay." Whatever. Haha, that's funny. A deadly sin, not the deadly sin. Like, it's so funny that he actually said this. Like, he thought like
it's great.
this is a bang. Like, I'm gonna say this and this is gonna hit hard. It has an
Yes.
entire month dedicated to it. A direct jab at Pride Month. He referred to diversity, equity, and inclusion as uh, tyranny. He said women's rights to choose what to do with their bodies, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values and media, all stem from the. God damn. Okay, this is a kicker, by the way.
Yeah, this is a kicker.
So
He should shut up.
I don't know what this is, but when speaking about women, Bucker encouraged them to embrace serving men as homemakers as their true goal in life.
Yeah.
Some of you may go on to lead
Dude,
successful.
if kicking balls wasn't a thing,
He said,
you would be in the kitchen, brother.
Devin, you got to understand. Like, I feel like there's a lot of players. Like, remember we were talking about that golfer, right? And how he's like,
Sure.
"Oh, I got a fucking tea time. Fuck your
Yeah.
dead guy." And he
Yeah.
was like, he just needed to get to his tea time. This is like kind of in that same like, oh, like you're a little too entitled, just a little too
Yes.
entitled. Serving men as homemakers. Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
I doubt that.
See, it's like,
Times are changing, brother.
it's like, I don't know. Isn't a commencement speech like a commencement speech is like good job, guys.
Well, kind of. It's kind of where these fuckers go out and yeah, you're supposed to do that, but it's when famous losers like to speak about things happening in the world.
But isn't it like I feel like isn't it like yeah, but it's like it's I don't know. This feels like he had a narrative that he
He
was
did have a narrative.
ready to push at this commencement speech.
Yes.
The entire speech was a barrage of harmful sentences and ventured far beyond the world of opinion and free speech and hate speech. The rhetoric Butker employs here is the same type of rhetoric that incites violence against marginalized people across the world. Now, here's
Well,
the
this is just
thing.
a gay website.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Did he take? Did he? How do they word it? Incites violence again. Now,
He
incites
didn't incite.
violence. He didn't incite violence.
No.
That's not
This,
the.
but these are just buzzwords that these certain news outlets like to use. I'm not saying anything that he said was correct, but they also like to
Oh.
fluff it like he's some type of terrorist.
So the the
Like, who the
NFL.
fuck's gonna listen to a punter? We shouldn't even listen to these comments.
So here's the NFL statement. Harrison Butker gave a speech in his personal capacity. His
Yeah.
views are not those of the NFL as an organization. The NFL is steadfast in our commitment to inclusion, which only makes our league stronger. Okay. They basically okay. Do you know?
They said nothing.
Can you only guess what's coming up next in comparison to this? I mean, I think you
What do you
can,
mean?
right? There's one situation that's being brought up in comparison to this.
Colin Kaepernick.
Good job, Devin.
You're welcome.
When athletes like Butker use their platforms as a means to disparage marginalized groups, it's always going to conjure up comparisons to one of the NFL's most unforgettable sins, the excommunication of Colin Kaepernick, which the full excommunication was because of Colin Kaepernick's wife. The beginning of it was obviously the NFL's fault, but
Also, his
and when he was given the chance when 15 teams were going to show up to camp, and then he said no, I want to do it here and not. But
yeah.
that's a whole different conversation. Let's talk
Yeah,
about from
he
the
wasn't
beginning.
a fucking saint, that's for sure.
Like the comeback, I wouldn't say is necessarily all the NFL's fault, but yeah, it's the NFL's fault. They put him in a position to have to come back. The former 49ers quarterback famously had the audacity to kneel during the national anthem. A direct protest action to yeah.
Yeah.
We know we know what that is. I know that some will say the Kaepernick was different because he did this on the field. Now, see, that's probably the biggest difference, right? Because
Yeah, this is not. He's not doing anything.
ooh,
Like he's at a college giving a speech. This wasn't like a thing that he did for the NFL. It's not something that he. I mean, he put it out. It wasn't. He didn't put it out. He went and did a commencement speech for a college and said his piece. And you don't have to listen to him. It's wrong. Some of the things he said. Um, but I mean, there's tons of people from the South who have those views,
see
and I mean,
that,
he said, I don't know.
and it's like I'm not saying it's right, but at the end of the day, the same people that push the narrative of like shut up and dribble,
Yeah.
they have the same views that Harrison Bucker has. So that's
Sure.
why, well, because everybody's asking, like, why aren't they telling him to shut up and dribble? It's like, that's because the people that say shut up and dribble feel this way. They're
Well,
telling the
I
people that
also think that
stand
he's
up against.
received a
What's up?
bunch of backlash.
You said what?
He's received a bunch of backlash. Like it's not like this is gone unnoticed and like
Yeah, but
he's looked at as a. I mean, in the community of the people who believe things like that, you know.
what kind of backlash, though, are we talking about? He's not. Is he really going to get in any type of trouble?
I mean, Colin Kaepernick didn't get into specific trouble,
Colin
but they
Kaepernick
did
never
kick him out of the
played
league.
again.
I mean, who knows if he'll get into trouble?
He never played a single. No, you know what I mean. He's
Yeah.
not getting a Colin Kaepernick treatment.
No.
He's probably not going to be made to apologize. Probably not going to be made. He's probably not going to be forced to apologize.
But here's the thing, like with Colin Kaepernick, was it right for the NFL to do that for anybody?
No,
It doesn't mean it needs to happen in this instance.
no, but don't you think that instead? I mean, don't you think that the NFL could at least, like, I don't know, make a statement? Like their statement was like, "We don't got nothing to do with this.
Well, I doubt his values are going to change.
We just pay." Well, he doesn't have to. You know, he can look. He can stand on his values. You know, how I feel is how I feel. But if he's supposed to be this, like, I mean, I guess they're standing behind this whole like, oh, he's this highly religious Catholic guy. It's like, all right, well, like, shouldn't you like, maybe like have some love or something for everybody out
Yeah.
there, like whatever,
It's
like.
they. I don't want to get too religious and all that jazz, but they preach all this stuff and for certain people,
It's
only the
just
ones who love Jesus.
it's just weird. It's weird because he's not gonna get. I mean, yeah, he's getting heat, but like on Twitter.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean he's getting heat from other places, probably.
yeah, Instagram,
No, I mean news
Facebook,
outlet,
probably
but
news out. Okay, turn the TV off. He's still gonna go play football. Like he's still gonna be fine. He's not.
yeah,
I mean, he's
he's a punter though, and
kicker, but does it matter?
whatever. Who cares?
Does it matter? So you're saying if a quarterback has to keep his mouth shut more than a kicker?
No, I'm not saying that, but
I mean, that's what I'm.
I mean, in a perfect world, I think everyone should be able to say whatever the fuck they want to say, and Colin Kaepernick should not have been punished for doing the things that he did, but he was, and that sucks.
See, here's the thing though. Colin Kaepernick.
Like, I don't think it's the right example to set to kick him out of the league.
But if you spin the whole 360 on it, Colin Kaepernick wasn't trying to offend anybody. Went out of his way to say he wasn't trying to offend anybody. And then you got somebody who is saying things that offend people, not really saying much to, say he wasn't trying to offend anybody.
And
He's
I don't
not.
think he will.
he's not gonna. I mean, he's just getting no backlash for it, and
All right.
it's kind of fucked.
I don't. I don't. I mean, is it maybe viewed differently by some people? But there's a lot of this country, at least, that believes that what he says is wrong.
I don't know. I feel
I
like
don't know
if
where most stand, but you're saying no backlash. I think he's getting some backlash, and honestly, I don't give a shit.
Kyrie got
He's
more
talking
backlash
to
for
a liberal.
saying the Earth was flat.
Well, that was just fucking stupid.
But
I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying. Like
I'm
he
not
said
saying these are
stupid
good
shit.
things.
He said stupid shit and got backlash. This
Sure.
guy's telling women to stay in the fucking kitchen, and they're like, "Yeah."
Yeah, but I've heard that
And
before from
who's
these
his college?
fucking bumbling, huh?
Who's his college? What does college say?
I don't know. It's a liberal arts college with a 99% acceptance rate, so it's
I
not
wanna
really a college.
I wanna see what this did the college say anything? Uh, I didn't see. Maybe this might be a quote. I'm not reading this whole fucking article. Um, but yeah, the NFL had a comment. And they said, oh, we don't. The speech was denounced by the Benedictine. Have we figured this out yet?
Benedictine, yeah.
Benedictine Sisters of Mount Saint. God Christ. Um, his speech was denounced. We'll put it to you. That's what it sounded like
Okay.
it was. It was denounced, which, I mean, I guess that's cool. I don't really know what that means, except like saying like we don't agree. The same thing the NFL said, you
Sure.
know. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was wild that this all happened because I thought he said something like light, and then I read the
No.
quotes and I was like, oh, like like he said some shit. Like he said some
Yeah.
shit that's not like he said some shit that's not that good. And it's I don't know. It's just you got guys out here telling women to stay in the kitchen. You got former NBA players saying that NFL players couldn't play basketball. You got Shaq making diss
True.
tracks.
Shaq.
We're in a weird sports world, a weird sports
Yeah.
state.
But I don't think anyone I mean, I don't know. Apparently Harrison Butker's jersey sales went up, but I mean going from 12 to 18 is I guess an increase. So, whatever. No,
going
who the
from
fuck's buying Harrison Butker's jersey anyway? They will increase if one fucking bumbling jackass of a fucking Christian is like, well, I agree with what he's saying. I
is
like
it even
that.
an option, or do you have to go in like the customize and you have to? That's how you get a Harrison
No,
Butker
you just have,
jersey.
yeah, you have to write in number 7,
Yeah, that's how you get
ass liquor.
a Bucker
Yeah.
jersey. But
Yeah, I don't
I mean,
fuck them.
another thing that sucks, the Giants uniforms, their new alternate uniforms. Did you see them?
No.
Go ahead and pull them up. I want to pull them up as well, just because like I want to get a really good look at them. Um, so the new Giants alternate uniforms.
You're
Um,
kidding me. That's not real.
no, they're real.
You gotta be.
They're 100th season. They're century red uniforms. So
Dog, that's
they're
EFL uni. What are we doing?
so for anybody that may just be listening, I mean, or even viewing, because hey, it's just us. Tan pants. They got like it's a red jersey, but a big blue stripe from like chest to belly button.
It's a rugby shirt.
This is a rugby shirt, Devin. And then they're like kind of Michigan helmets.
With like the lines. It looks like fire. This is bad.
These uniforms suck.
I hope they look good on the field, but they won't.
What's look good on the field? Like, I mean, see, I don't know. They went too far back. Like their old
Yeah.
schools.
They could have gone. I mean, I guess they are kind of like with the old logo. They're kind of 80s, 90s or whatever. But yeah, they could have moved it up a little bit from the 100 season.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
This will go down as one of the worst. This is up there with the Bumblebees and those Jets jerseys with the circles or whatever, or the Packers jerseys with the circles and the tan pants.
I think the Bumblebees at least like I don't know. I don't hate the Bumblebees as much as these.
No, for sure.
Like I'll say that right now. I really don't.
Maybe those yellow Eagles jerseys.
yellow. Okay, okay. See, there
Yeah,
you go.
that's what
But
this feels like.
that's the example. Like just when you go too far back, like
People are
it's
comparing them to the Canucks or the Canadians hockey jerseys. That's exactly what they are, actually. Look
where
up
are
the
those at?
Canadians hockey jerseys. They're the exact same. They have the same socks and the same jerseys.
So they just bite, or did the hockey team bite theirs? Okay, I mean, yeah, it's pretty similar. It's
No,
actually the same exact.
it's
Yeah,
actually the exact
it's the
same.
same exact.
Like it's not. No, it's the exact same jersey.
No, yeah, that's the same exact.
No,
It's
and
this
pants and socks.
century red, the tan pants, dude. That really, that I think that's what throws it off.
I told you it looked CFL, dude. This is Canadian as fuck right here.
Like
They know no.
the jerseys aren't like they're pretty bad.
No, they're very bad, especially with the bad helmets.
But I'm
The
telling you,
socks are, and then you put on um, pants.
if you change that
Pants
beige,
that are somehow pants that are somehow darker than Daniel Jones.
oh shit. Yeah, these uniforms suck. And at this point, it seems like whoever's cooking up these uniforms, it's either the same guy cooking up a bunch of shitty uniforms, or like it's an inside joke on like who can come up with the shittiest concept.
Yeah,
Like maybe there's a bet, like yo, I bet I can get this to sell. Like, I bet nah, like, there's no way. There's no way.
that'd be
It's like
cool.
uniforms suck. I don't like them at all. Um, this is what I want to talk about though. Two things. You got one NFL, one NBA, and the one NBA is kind of depressing. It's kind of sad, and not like actually depressing or like actually sad or like something you have to be like sensitive about. It's a conversation. It's a topic. It's a question that's being asked, and that's is our era of the NBA over?
No.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that answer?
Yes. LeBron James will be on a competitive team next year. Steph Curry will have a competitive team next year. Kevin Durant will have a competitive team next year. Kyrie is on a competitive team. Um, who else? I mean, I definitely think that there are people from our era who are done.
Okay, like our
Uh,
era, like you got like LeBron, KD, Steph, Harden, Paul George, Kawhi. Like, there's people.
yeah, no, I wholeheartedly don't believe it's over. I think that a lot of these teams made and a lot of these players made some not great choices on what they wanted to pursue over the past few years, and some of these things haven't worked out.
Dame.
Uh, Dame, of course, that didn't work out because Giannis
One
hurt
year
his team.
though. 1 year. Ooh,
1 year,
1 year.
yeah, but Dame's kind of been teetering in and out of like where he's at. They missed the playoffs last year or whatever. Portland,
Yeah,
probably the past few years.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I don't think it's over. But I think for now, it's tougher, and there's other teams who are. I think this is the beginning of the new era. But no, yeah, I mean, I think there's still a few years left in some of these guys, and a few competitive years where they're fighting for titles or at least fighting for
And
playoff
see, and
wins.
that's the thing though. When we have conversations, and this isn't me like grasping at hopes of like that there's
Sure.
still like life in our era
No,
of
no, I'm not.
basketball. Like I'm completely fine. Like I think I've accepted that like it's okay. Like if we got to move
If
on
LeBron,
to where it's like, it's it's the Giannis's, the Anthony Edwards, the Jaws, the Halliburtons, the
the
Tatums.
Lucas,
Hate Tatum all you want, but the Tatums, the Lucas, the Books, like where like
I think that there's been enough of like a. I mean, we have enough. Like we have. Clearly, they're making exciting basketball with none of the big stars from yesteryear. So yeah, I don't see a problem with any of these guys leaving. Obviously, it'll suck when LeBron's gone and all those other guys, but I just think they still have a shot. You know.
But when we talk about teams or players, like, okay, we talk about Phoenix being a facilitator away from being back in the conversations. We
Mm-hmm.
talk about the Lakers still being in the conversation. We talk about how you can obviously still build around Steph Curry, Paul George, James Harden. I mean, Kawhi's never going to play a healthy postseason again, so I'm writing him off. But like
Potentially.
honestly, you got to take a Kyrie route, and hopefully in the future it pans out. But the a Dame
Yeah,
route,
latch.
link
We
up
got to
one of
latch.
these younger guys.
Yeah, we got to get some latching going on. Maybe KD goes back to OKC.
No, see, KD and Book is fine, but just get a better get that facilitator is going to bring that ball down,
Steph
and
Curry.
just let who?
Steph Curry.
No, fuck no. There's no
You think
way.
Steph's staying?
I think Steph, out of everybody, I mean Steph's the warrior for life.
Nah, maybe. Um,
I think he is.
maybe. I think Steph. I think that team would be eerily similar to the 2018, 2017, 2019 team with KD. I mean, if you have KD, Steph, if they can play pretty good basketball, and now you have a better spot up shooter than a Klay Thompson, you got a better piece, you got a better third guy.
See,
I don't
but
hate it.
Booker is almost so much better than Clay that it hurts.
I know, but if we're looking at a Steph that's older and willing to give up some, and obviously he still had a great season this year, but maybe you take some of that load off of a Steph Curry, throw it on the book, and let the boys roll. Steph is still a decent point guard. He can still assist the boys.
Sounds like you don't think the era is over at all.
I don't. No, I don't think so yet. I mean, I think there was a. Again, I think that a lot of these teams were in bad situations. Like I think Bron will be on a competitive team and have a competitive situation next year, no matter how fucking old he is.
I think,
It's not his fault that they fucking blew chunks this year, and it's not Darvin Ham's. But
to be honest, I think it's just like I just don't think we've seen this much top tier talent all at once.
there's a ton of top tier talent. Yes,
And it's not necessarily kicking out players that that we once knew as to be the faces of the league. It's just
sure.
the room's getting packed.
No, for sure it is.
So
But we start sending some of these boys to the east. It's
yeah,
not as packed over there. It's not as crowded. No one
yeah.
wants to be over there right now, but it's not very crowded over there at the moment.
See, that changes every
I
3 years.
you got Philly, I mean Dame went east, you got Giannis, you got the Celtics, and then we're still kind of in this weird feeling out era of the Cavs, the Pacers, the Knicks, the fucking Magic even.
That's the thing, though. Are we looking at a
But then
time?
we still got Trey Young who hasn't been or shown his full potential or been on a team that can help him. I mean, I don't think we should push him off like he's some type of shitty player, but
I think Trey
I
Young's
mean, we
gonna
got
be like
Zion
the
over there. We got a ton of teams out here,
stop
but
it. Zion is like I get it. Like the potential in Zion is insane. We know. We
I,
all know about it. But the man can't stay healthy.
I know he's a Popeyes biscuit away from being a Finals champion. I know
Bro, he's a Popeye's biscuit from this. He's also a step away from an ACL tear. Like he's not
at all times.
healthy. He's not healthy at all. Like
You telling me that guy's not healthy?
there's one person that's not. It's got to be him. And we're still here. We're sitting here talking about James Harden landing spots, DeMar DeRozan landing spots. Like this era is not over, but I have seen a lot of conversation about it just because we're in a situation where we're about to see, no matter what, one of the top stars of the NBA
Yeah,
get their first ring.
yeah, yeah.
It's cool. I
As
don't.
long I hope it's not the Celtics because I just
You.
don't care. I don't care enough about Jason Tatum and his arc as a fucking
But
player. I don't know. I don't like that.
okay, can you agree with me? And if you don't, it's okay because like fuck it, it's not even worth the argument. Tatum, Tatum, the the Celtics winning the finals is a lot less annoying and is a lot more bearable than the Chiefs, let's say, winning another Super Bowl
Agreed.
or the
A
Chiefs
thousand.
winning the Super Bowl.
by millions.
It's like
But
if Boston wins, it's like for you personally, like you've spent years being like, man, like fuck it,
well,
Jason
I
Tatum
mean,
is
and
not the
then there was a
guy.
point where I was cool about Tatum, and then he comes out, and then they're like, "Oh, is Jason Tatum the face of the league?" And he's like, "Yeah, for sure, I'm the face of the league, but I just don't talk a lot, and I don't do anything that's really that exciting, and I play good basketball." And blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we got a motherfucker out here who's talking shit, throwing up sevens. Like he's about that. He's about that. He's the face of the league. You got Luka out here who's talking hella shit. They're the faces of the league. You don't just become the face of the league because Bron's leaving and all the fucking guys are leaving. I know you're still a great player, but you're not no face of no fucking league. Fuck out of here. I'm tired of it.
I mean
He can't
Tatum.
fucking speak. He doesn't speak.
See, with
He
your
doesn't talk shit.
anger, it's like your anger. It's like, what is it coming from? Like Tatum is a face of the league.
He's a face of the league, but he's not up. He's not the face of the league. He's not exciting. He would have been the face of the league already. He's
I don't
had his
know about all
opportunity.
that.
He's
He's
had
not
5 years.
exciting. He's more exciting of a basketball player to watch than, I don't know, the MVP of the league.
Sure, agreed, Jokic, but that the MVP is a NBA bullshit fucking thing. These guys vote on it. Who gives a fuck about the MVP anymore? Everyone knows that Luka or
It was
Shai
just
should
an
have won.
example. Just an example.
No,
Well, you brought
no,
up
I know.
Jokic talking shit, but it's like, okay, I'm
I
taking
know. I was gonna
taking
bring up.
Tatum's gameplay over Jokic's shit talking. I mean, what's his shit talking like? I make
I
you
was
great
talking about Ant.
sports.
I was talking about Ant. I was talking
But
about
you
Ant.
said, but then Ant to Jokic.
Yeah, throwing up
Oh,
sevens and
sorry.
talking shit,
I thought you were
and
saying
Luka talking
and
his shit,
okay,
and
Luka talking shit. Yeah, gotcha.
and I don't know. Like you can't. It for me, it's like you can't just say, "Hey, I'm the face of the league," and then no one knows why. We know you're a great player,
But
but there's a difference between being the influence of the league. Like for years, Kobe was an influence on the league. Steph was an influence on the league.
I
Bron
mean,
was
you
the
don't think
biggest influence.
Tatum is an influence?
Kinda, maybe. I
And
don't know.
and I think there's different influences. There's influences that
I know, but
change.
there's a reason. Like most of the talk in this NBA playoffs has been about a few guys. Tatum's name has not been brought up very much.
But
Just
out of all
among
these,
the masses.
out of all these teams, who do we know for sure was going to be in this position by this point
Exactly.
in the season?
Agreed.
So there's not
Agreed.
much to talk about right now.
I understand.
Until they start getting pressed, there's nothing to really talk about.
I know, but I just don't want to see. I want to see them make the finals, and I would love to see them lose in the finals yet
You
again.
already did. You already got to see that.
I know. I would love to see it again, especially
I don't.
Luka or Anthony Edwards.
See, I'd rather see either of those teams win it, but for me personally, if it gets in a situation where it's Boston versus Minnesota or Dallas, I'm not gonna care who wins that, who wins coming out of that.
Yeah, it's fair.
But Kyrie versus Boston in the finals is probably the biggest narrative nobody's talking about. But it's fine.
That is true.
All right. Okay. So yeah, the era is not over. I guess that's what we were talking about. But the last thing before we get out of here, and I found this kind of interesting because I guess this is gonna be something that's probably gonna come out every day. It's just news coming out from OTAs. I got a couple for you. I got a few, and I just want to throw them at the wall, see if they stick, see how you feel about them. First one I read, top of the list over a lot of these. Bryce Young looks fantastic with new offense. Now, it's been a day.
First things first. What the fuck is their new offense? Second thing, who the hell said that?
We're talking like 7-on-7 drills, maybe a scrimmage or whatever. Like we're talking day one. He looks fantastic. So maybe that hype might.
Where is this source?
This is coming from CBS Sports.
Okay.
From CBS Sports.
CBS put out the top quarterback. They
top news from the OTAs from day one.
No, I know, but they also ranked the.
They also ranked him 31st. They ranked him second. They ranked him like under guys that have not played in an NFL game yet.
But what's I don't understand what the new team is.
New offense. I guess their new scheme. Their new. I think it's more of a scheme than
the same guys.
I
Yeah.
think
Okay.
I think it's scheme over personnel
Okay.
is what they're referring to. But I don't know. I didn't look too much into it because there's kind of more that are interesting, or there's
Yeah, that's
others
not
that are
very.
more interesting to me because you got Kirk Cousins getting getting early chemistry with Kyle Pitts. The way they labeled it was he's ready to unlock Kyle Pitts, which I will say this is probably the best quarterback that Kyle Pitts has gotten to play with
It
so
is.
far in his NFL
Who's he seen?
career.
Mariota, Heineke, and Ritter. Maybe someone before
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Maybe the last year, Matt Ryan.
I don't think he got any Matt Ryan because he was 2020.
He
Kyle
was
Pitts was
20.
2020. I don't. I mean, I think he.
I
I think
mean,
he
Matt
had.
Ryan was there in 2020. He left in
Okay.
20. Who
Okay.
knows? But
I
yeah,
honestly can't remember, but
yeah.
that I mean that's something to keep an eye on because if he's because and there were some plays that I saw today where it was yes solid evidence that there is some type of chemistry being built between Pitts and good old Kirk, which they also said that the Falcons have the easiest walk to the playoffs this season, so that's something to keep up on. So
Who said that?
If the Falcons play like shit this year, there's no
We
excuse.
already know that. Yeah, yeah,
There's no
sure, okay.
excuse. That's what
But
I've gotten.
again, there's so many teams that like are in these weird stages. Like maybe Carolina will be good next year. Who knows? And
Maybe
they
I
can
don't know.
contend with Atlanta. Like because
Atlanta
based
and
off of
Tampa
last
Bay.
year, Carolina's pretty much a walk in the park for most teams. But that was last year.
Aaron Rodgers throwing touchdowns day one OTAs.
Wonderful. I love it.
Which honestly,
Honestly, I'd rather him tear his Achilles now than first game of the season.
it,
I mean, how cool. He was walking out with the flag on September 11th. It was the game. It was New York City, baby,
it,
and fucking got ruined. And then Robert Saleh's celebrating in the end zone. Ugh, let's all dogpile on each other and fucking finger Zach Wilson.
he
That made me so mad.
I'm definitely glad to see him back
I love, I
already
love,
throwing touchdowns on the practice field, and I do agree
love it.
he could tear his Achilles now and probably will play week one.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I mean, because he was ready to throw touchdowns if they made the playoffs.
That's
So
true. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how
If he
surprised
does
I
have to
am,
tear a meniscus, he doesn't now.
but it's May off a torn Achilles. He's already in here throwing touchdowns. I like the sound of it. And the biggest or the last thing, and I don't know how big of a thing it is with the context, but Justin Jefferson not present.
Not present, not there. In contract negotiations. If I was Justin Jefferson, I'm not sure I would show up.
Now he didn't show up last year to majority of the voluntary OTAs. They said, once they got,
I don't know.
they said once he got into mini camps, he was there and showing up. So I guess it's kind of a wait and see.
Are these voluntaries or are these the real ones?
Yeah, these are well.
All OTAs are voluntary?
What I don't even know. What can we pull up the schedule?
Yeah.
Let's see. When do the you think if I typed in like an involuntary like OTAs would pop up on my screen?
Skip start of voluntary OTAs. All right, who cares?
Okay,
Don't
so
care.
involuntary OTAs start. Or do they just call that mini camp now?
Maybe.
OTAs mini camp.
T. Higgins won't sign before OTAs.
Here we go. So first day
Here we
OTA
go.
season workouts all the way till June. So they're okay. Mandatory mini camp starts mid June. So basically, is what.
So OTAs are always voluntary.
I guess we'll see.
If
Then
I was Justin Jefferson and I could go make money, like not showing up to these things and like, I don't know, wiping babies' asses or doing what Tim Tebow does and slicing foreskins in the Philippines.
Hey.
What, he's doing the Lord's work.
Come on. You know nothing about that.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to know shit. Maybe if it entails slicing foreskins, I'll swing by, but I don't want to do the Lord's work. What are we talking about?
You don't want to? Nah, neither do I.
We just shat on Harrison Butker for trying to do the Lord's work, apparently.
That's not the Lord's work.
Apparently it is.
No, the NFL said that's his word.
Yeah, they got no idea what the Lord is. They're all fucking.
I don't know. I think that's it.
Fucking.
I mean, the day this episode comes out, we got the Eastern Conference Finals starting. So I mean,
Yeah.
Friday we're gonna have some shit to talk about.
When does the next thing start?
You want me to hear? You want me to pull up the schedule?
The Western
Here we go. I'll
Conference.
pull up the schedule for both right
I
now.
definitely have the internet pulled up on my thing, but I'm too stupid. Wednesday.
So Pacers,
Yeah.
Celtics, Mavs, Tims, Pacers, Celtics, and then we'll be recording after Mavs, Tims on Friday. So two games into both series we'll be able to talk about. So we'll have some shit. We'll have some shit to talk about, Devin. I guess is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I mean, nah, I don't. I was gonna say something bad, but
That's
I'd
good.
rather not.
I'm glad you didn't. You did
Yep.
not take the Harrison Butker route. Well, with all that being said, we'll be back on Friday to talk more NBA playoffs, more NFL season, off season, more OTA talk, more talk, more sports talk. We'll be back on Friday. Brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. It has been me. It has been Devin. It has been real. We are out.
Excuse me, pig. I have a tea time.